Cool. We're recording
So-
and I think we're live.
So you get Jill Amos, a friend of mine from Union Pacific who got laid off last year. She's been at Nebraska Medical. She just posted that her husband, 40 years old, healthy, no underlying health conditions in ICU.
How old is he?
40.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Is that due to
But
COVID?
her dear friend's husband who's 40, not her. Thank God. Not either way, it's bad. So
Yeah, for sure.
man, that sucks.
In Iowa?
No, Omaha.
Wow.
So I'll
Kick off
kick this
the
off,
good
guys.
there. Yeah.
I'll kick this off. Hello, everyone. If you're watching live on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, I guess Periscope, and then for the 40,000 gamers who are trying to figure out why these old guys are on or hacking their channel, we are now on Twitch. I think it's
Here we
Twitch.
go.
Maybe it's Twitcher. Yeah, exactly. Your son's like going, dude, this is my. You're in my space. You've invaded my space.
That's awesome.
Just welcome. This is 4 of the 6 of the founders of Kaada. Kaada is a group based in Omaha, Nebraska, started here, but we're quickly reaching outside the confines of our cities. And we meet weekly, sometimes more than once, today twice, to talk about pouring into each other. So Kaada is a Finnish word that means to pour in. And we literally spend time thinking about what the problem that you've got at hand, and the rest of our team spends that time kind of thinking and brainstorming. I'll share it. Like today, I got 7 ideas on one of my issues, and it was great. And I'd like to welcome my colleagues in crime, Derek Jensen, Mike Miller, and Josh White. Hello, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Happy Friday.
It is Happy Friday. You know what? We could actually, in the order that we've got these screens, we could be like the before and after. So I have no hair. He's got a little bit of hair. Michael's got some good hair, and then Josh has got all the hair, right? So we like the what's the name? Not the Neapolitan man. What's the Neanderthal man where they've got the stages? That would
Yeah, the Cro-Magnon
That's
man. All the way to
yeah. I love being the after, which is exciting for me. I've always wanted to be after. So
Okay.
So Mike, what's going on? How's your week?
Week was good. It went. It was an odd week. It went really slow the first half, and then the second half just flew by. And here it is, Friday. We are 3 weeks into working from home, 3 full weeks. So we've adjusted. I would say the folks I work with. It seems like we're more efficient than we were when everybody was in an office. Things are getting done quickly. There's more focus, less distraction, I would say, different distraction. So from a work perspective, we're doing well. We find that the people who we talk to in sales are more apt to talk now. Like they've gotten past their, their tasks of helping their company work from home. IT is where we spend a lot of our time in sales. So those folks are comfortable now that things are working. It's not a fire drill, so they have more time to talk. Home life is good. I mean, it's just my wife and I, so we don't, and it's kind of easy for us. So we've almost hit the bottom of Netflix. So we got to figure out what's next.
Pluto.
More Tiger King.
Pluto.
What's that?
Pluto.com, man. Pluto.
Oh, yeah.
Pluto.
Yeah, the streaming service. Yeah.
Yep. I'm amazed at how many $6 monthly subscriptions one can pile up by just clicking accept on Amazon, right?
Right.
We lost the cable, but now it's like, okay, 6 times 45, that's a lot of money. I guess you probably go back to cable, but it's all the choices now, right?
Overall, we're not driving to work. We're not spending the money on gas to drive, or lunches or happy hours. Overall, financially, if you have a job,
I know
you're probably saving some money, I would think. And
Yeah, my wife drove to she went to the wildlife safari, like the outdoor, and she drove the Tesla, which is, she doesn't drive the Tesla, and she's like, I don't want to spend any money on gas. I was like, well, aren't you glad that I bought the Tesla? And she says, no, I'm still not happy about that, but I'll still drive it just to save money for gas. So
yeah, exactly.
So, anyway.
The Tesla made it through the wildlife safari park.
Yeah,
that's-
man, it's all-wheel drive. It's great.
No,
It's
meaning
quiet. So
driving 2 miles an hour for hours, didn't it?
2.5 hours. It was like a Yellowstone trip.
Yeah.
It was painful. How is your staff holding up from a personal, like, are you finding that their mental states are well? Were they already crazy before this happened? Are they just?
No, it's different for them because they have kids. They're all homeschooling right now. Their spouses are home. So, no, it's a lot different. And they're doing well. It's been an adjustment. Alcohol consumption has gone way up amongst my coworkers. I'm kidding. But
You
no,
heard about that? Alcohol sales is up.
yeah, it's funny. I saw that and I believe it. The opposites happened to me. I'm a social drinker, so I don't drink at home, and I've done very little here. But if I'll meet you at the bar and have a cocktail, but I'm not here. It's funny.
So my wife said last night, okay, I'll eat turkey and duck, but I will not eat deer. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, if we have to go hunting, I'll eat a turkey and a duck, but I will not eat a deer. And
Why is she drawing the line at deer?
Maybe they're cute. I'm not sure, but she likes turkeys
Bambi.
too.
She doesn't want to eat Bambi. Yeah.
I know, but that's how I really got, my 16 chickens. And now I've got we subscribed to a homesteading video series that we're going to watch tonight because I guess we are. It's going to be fun. I'm going to learn how to do, as she says, woodsmanship. I go, that's called renting a carpenter. That's what my woodsmanship is, right?
So wait a minute. You have chickens?
Yeah, we have 16 chickens.
You do? Can I get some eggs? Like,
yeah, come on over.
Legit buy some eggs from you?
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that, like to buy eggs from a farm.
So I love them.
I'm in.
Yeah.
That noise you hear in your backyard won't be the coyote. It'll be me. Quick dozen.
Yeah. What's that shake? Oh, that's Mike Miller.
I got a blanket on. I'm back.
Yeah. Like you see those guys with the bushes, like sneaking out of their house, and they're walking around the city with their bushes.
With a dozen eggs.
Wile Coyote.
Right. Exactly.
Derek, the young man, the one who
birthday boy.
Yeah, birthday boy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Sweet. He turned like 16 today.
I can drive.
Yeah, maybe 18.
Yeah. No, I'm a little bit older than that.
So what are you doing? I mean, besides, setting really away from the camera so you look like a little whitehead on the.
I'm trying to sit further back so that way the lighting's right. Clouds keep coming and it gets weird.
Yeah, me too. Right.
Yeah. So what are you doing today? I mean, you're gonna hang out and have a birthday party?
So
balloons.
There's some new movie that came out on Disney Plus, so we're gonna watch that tonight, and might even do a little fort in the living room. Although last time we did that, my daughter ended up with a black eye because our youngest threw a book, and we weren't prepared for that, and it caught her right on the side. So maybe she won't want to do the whole build a fort in the living room thing.
Right.
Well, that'll teach her.
Yeah, don't lay down when watching a movie with a 1.5-year-old running around with heavy objects.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out the background. Sorry.
Yeah, we got Mike up here. He's playing with Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah.
I've got the beautiful skyline of Omaha behind me.
Look at that.
I got to figure this out. Why mine is transparent? It must be the camera I'm using or something.
It's just you're transparent guy, man. You're one of those salesmen
very
who just transparent.
Yes. Open
Yeah.
book.
Okay.
Transparent.
Derek, how's the
So
new
what
job?
did you learn today?
How's work going?
Yeah, new job. How's it going? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's been a great group, and it's fun. It's been a project management role, but at the same time, having some capacity to be able to help others in their small businesses during this time, and rethinking what the day-to-day job looks like. So I've been fortunate enough to work remote most of my career. And so being there for others and giving them some tips and tricks has been nice. And then even thinking through businesses that have been very traditional brick and mortar. So I got a buddy of mine who owns a gym, and his goal through all of this is just to be able to survive it. His gym's relatively new, maybe 2-3 years old. And so he's got a good backing of people who are coming, but at the same time, this type of a situation, people can't come. And so what does that mean for him? And so I gave him a couple of different strategies of how that could change and try and get it to a mindset of not get through it, but thrive. And so having that capacity right now to be able to help others and rethink what their business looks like right now to be able to get through it, it's been a nice change of pace.
That's awesome.
Nice. How about you, Mr. Joshua? Reno?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, when I hear Reno, I turn around. Similar to Mike's experience, right? Like 3 weeks in, it seems to me like the weeks start off slowly because each day is long when you're used to getting out and about and going to see people. When you're not, it becomes a little slower. But I'll tell you, the last couple of days have been ultra fast. I feel like there's a better cadence at work. Like Mike said, we're more efficient. We're used to the technology a little more. So think about that. That's 3 weeks in for the whole country, the whole world.
Yep.
That's when we talk about, and we talked about this in Kaada, and we'll get to that more, but we had the old way of doing things, and now we have a new normal. At some point, we're going to go back to the way it was, but it won't be the same. So it's going to be an old new normal. And so I think technology, and we all have agreed this, that the technology is going to be a major, major component of how we work in the future. But, work's good. Unfortunately for us, we furloughed, and this is an issue that's going around a lot of companies, but we furloughed 3 employees, two pretty senior leaders and another young person. And, those are hard decisions right now. And we did that for the next month and a half to 2 months. And we hope that they are able to come back at the end of this. They took it well, and I reached out to them, and they seem really good. But that's still a really tough thing to go through. And now we're talking about salary reductions. So we'll see what ends up happening. But on the flip side, we have applied for the disaster loans and the Paychecks Protection Program. And a lot of businesses feel pretty confident that they're going to be rewarded, some coverage here. And so we don't know a ton of the details about when it will be distributed and or when we'll be notified about it. But the bankers have done an amazing job, especially in our local community of Omaha here, working their way through these issues for a lot of businesses. And, I heard a stat today that we've got 40,000 small businesses in Omaha, I want to say, maybe more than that.
Through one bank, right?
Yeah, for one bank.
For the largest bank there.
There's 90% of the small businesses have between 1 and 20 employees. So you think about how much of an impact that is when you are running a truly small business. What a missed 2 weeks of revenue, a missed month of revenue can really mean for those companies. So it's important that the stimulus package got passed. It's important that the money gets distributed quickly. So that's where my mind has been, to go into family. We kidded about this last week. My wife runs her company out of our house. I'm now invading her space. We've got a son who's 14 who doesn't care about school. It just makes for a lot of fun, and a lot of jokes around. We've gotten into a rhythm. I have the basement. Leo's got hit the main floor and Jen's got her office. So we're good.
That's awesome. Meet in the middle for lunch.
And we see each other.
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
I was talking to Carrie Acker this week in Lincoln. And so she runs the Lincoln, for those of you who don't know, Lincoln, one of the Lincoln groups. And I said, this is the most communal experience of my lifetime. And which is ironic because we're not together, but there's nothing else that we can say that we all went through this. So unless you're maybe in the middle of the Sahara, like on the Y2K, even Y2K, everyone quote unquote went through it. But if you're an underdeveloped country, you didn't worry about the computers rolling over. You just, it was like quiet. But in most places around the world, people are all scared, hunkered down, maybe not scared, but they're nervous, right? And it'll be one of those things that the seniors are graduating and say, remember when? And everyone will most likely remember when. So in a moment when we're pulled apart, we're still all experiencing something that has never happened before. And I think it will have, I think it just has it'll have a profound experience of like, this is it's like the biggest community meeting we've ever had, right? The community meeting is to go home, take care of your loved ones, focus on what you can do, pray, and move day by day, sometimes hour by hour. Thoughts about that?
You said that last part, Julian. I really like that people, the fact that the entire world basically is experiencing this, it draws me back to think about people's personalities. And what I mean by that is, I think some people were inherently situated to probably better handle the adjustment period of this. And oftentimes those are people that think more day by day, moment by moment, because they're able to adjust to that. And some people that think futuristically or about the past have kind of struggled with what's happening in the present. But if you are I'm in the moment, I'm thinking here and now, and some people are more inclined to do that, I bet their adjustment period wasn't quite as long. Part of what I've always been way off into the future, and I'm always like, why isn't everybody else down there with me thinking 6 months, a year down the road? Well, now I've had to to really dial it back and think of day by day and almost moment by moment, because it is a new way of living and existing. And it's been really healthy and good just for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you're maybe 3 weeks in here. Some folks are. We are full 3 weeks in from.
We were full 3 weeks in.
Yeah, work perspective. So I think people reacted and went out and bought a bunch of stuff and stocked up because they didn't know how long this was going to last. There's going to be a realization here shortly that this is going to last longer than they thought. So you're going to see another reaction here shortly. I was watching CNBC this morning, and they're talking about the next wave of this is probably countries that are going to stop exporting things that are critical to them. So rice commodities are going to become scarce. And so if people know that, right, the next wave is going to be go out and grab a bunch more stuff because we don't know how long this will last. So you'll see these nationalism come up now. We're all going through this together, and people will stop exporting because they want it for their people, right?
Yeah.
You see a little bit on the state level where the governors are trying to, get all this stuff, and rightly so, right? But there's been good cooperation, it seems, but I think the next level of that is there won't be good cooperation, and it's us against them. Unfortunately, if this goes on another 6 weeks, you'll probably start seeing.
That would be really disappointing to me, Mike. I think you're right that it's going to be disappointing to me because I think that leaders, whether you're leading your family, a business, a community, a state, a country, to think of the abundance mentality and cooperate instead of the scarcity mentality is probably what's going to help get us through this.
Totally agree. Yeah.
We've had this communal experience, as Julian said, and I think people have really rallied around each other. I've seen more people are uneasy, they're stressed, but there's a lot of kindness. There's a lot of togetherness. There's a lot of giving, as sort of a charitable giving mentality that's out there right now. And I hope that continues.
Yeah, I think
Those
people
people.
are full. Sorry, Julian, go ahead.
It's good, Michael. Finish your story.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, people are still hopeful, right? Like this is going to be a short duration thing, and we'll get through this, et cetera. But if it turns out to be longer than, if this is still going on in June, yeah, this could get ugly fast. Hence why you see all the firearms being purchased and ammunition.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking job. Me either, but
a couple of things in that. So I think the people who are all calm have the toilet paper, and those of us who don't have the toilet paper, we are the have-nots, right? We don't have the toilet paper right now. So our sense of reliability on the supply chain is a little bit more tenuous than maybe Joshua, who's got a van full of toilet paper in his house.
Didn't have any toilet paper until like Wednesday, and I went to Costco, and there was a guy standing next to a little crate, and there were about 7 big packages of Charmin left on his crate, and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I'm guarding it so that people don't take all of it at once. And I thought, oh, that's just a sorry state.
We must have been there before you, because there were like 9 packages on that. On that pallet.
So
we got one.
So one thing. So I was at Aldi's yesterday, shopping for groceries, and as I'm checking out the checkout ladies who have been there for as long as I've shopped there, they said they were talking. It's 2 times. They kept saying it's 2 times. And I said, what are you guys talking about? I've known them, I talk to them because they're awesome people. And she goes, the food stamp program is going to be twice the value as it is today. So if I got $250 a week, I'll get $450 a week. And then the unemployment insurance is $600 more than the given rate of unemployment.
That's right.
So she said, someone not working now is going to be making more than me.
They're incentivizing people not to work. That's right.
Working at Aldi's, right? So she says they gave us $2 raise, that's great, but it makes it very frustrating for us who have been coming in to know that now that it's going to be that kind of a conflict. And I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic going forward, because that's going to be, the men and women are going into work right now and keeping a lot of this
risking their health to
right.
shelves and provide service to us. Yeah, that's true. Never thought of that.
I hadn't even thought of that. They were like both upset. They go, we work because we want to work. And I'm not saying that someone who's going to get assistance doesn't want to work. That's not at all I'm saying. I'm just saying when you start making the choice between, if I stay at home and protect my family and I can make more money than going to work.
Yeah, it's time value of money. It's just a simple equation there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why is that, Julian? Is that because they had to come up with one number, and that number doesn't factor in cost of living and where we are compared to the coast, where that money, will help people barely afford to live, but it'll help them make it, where they might earn more money on an hourly wage? That's my case.
Yeah, so I'm probably the only one of the 4 of us who have been on Medicaid in the last 3 years of your life. So you guys know about my year a couple of years ago. So I'm pretty familiar with what they pay. So they don't pay really enough to live on. You end up having to it's a subsistence at best living. So I think it's interesting that I think what's going to happen, and I'm really concerned about families who are not unwilling, but maybe feel like they cannot be honest and be vulnerable and take the assistance that they need. Right. It took me 7 months for me to not let my wife, that sounds a really horrible way, but for her to convince me that it's the right thing to do to go get some assistance on areas that we needed assistance on. I was like, nope, I got this. So I just hope that in this period of time, the businesses were quick to go get their money. But the 3 people who you've got let go, when you don't have insurance, it's a crazy, scary place to be. And I just hope that people are okay with dropping the pride a bit if that, and just knowing that people like us, we all worked for this moment where people need help, we're going to be there for them, right? That's hope.
Too quiet today, Derek Jensen.
I know.
His birthday. He's thinking about the party afterwards.
Yeah.
No,
Who scheduled this at 3 o'clock on a Friday? Right?
no, it's actually quite different. It's a weird thing to be going through, and we've all seen the really cool things that have been going on in the communities and what's happening. And I don't know, for whatever reason, my birthday is usually a reflection point, and it's a weird one this year, right? There's a lot of different things going on. And then as you guys are talking about, all right, so look at the micro level of houses going and doing a run on the grocery store, and then you're talking about it at a macro level of nations and how are they going to act. There's an interesting conversation I was having yesterday about leadership and fear and what that does to those that they lead and how they react and act beyond that. And the interesting thing is if you look at it at a macro level in our government leaders, there's almost this shelter and kind of separation that, we as a community, it doesn't really matter how they act, because we can still, as a community, separate ourselves a little bit to be able to still be positive and still take care of each other. But when you look at it from a business level, and depending on the size of the business, those leaders or even leaders within the organization, their fear and how it starts to impact those around them. I guess my hope through all of this is there's enough positive and enough willingness to help from a humanity standpoint that we can avoid leadership through fear. Because I feel like at the point that you get to where you're leading through fear, your ability to be creative, your ability to even think and do some of the day-to-day actions, it's almost like tunnel vision. And it gets so hard that that's my hope through all of this and the things that I've been kind of thinking about. And so I guess I'd ask a question of, what are you seeing as far as the leaders that are around you? How do you feel like they're acting? Do you feel like they're acting with a calm head and thoughtfulness, or do you feel like fear is starting to take a grip?
I can tell you from my perspective, our company is very strong leadership, very supportive. There's no panic or fear in any of their words or messages.
Good.
So yeah, no, we're everybody's here for the employee, it seems like, and we all have jobs to do. Everybody knows what they are, but there's no fear in anybody's actions or words. So it's a
Mike, is that? There we go.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
So Derek, good question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I muted Julian for a second because I think it was coming through on his end.
So what I've seen externally and also within my company has been the CEOs that are vulnerable, that came out of the gates sort of admitting that they didn't know where this was all going and were transparent with their employees and communicated well and had the leaders around them communicate well. I think they were situated for success from the get-go because it was about the employees. It was caring for the employees, showing them, true care about them at work and outside of work, but also being stable, through this. You talked about that fear, it leads to instability, and that just makes everybody uneasy. And I've seen a lot of just CEOs they admit that they don't know where this is heading. And I think that's a great thing. They can still demonstrate strong leadership by being vulnerable. In fact, I would say that they're even better leaders when they're vulnerable like that. But it truly is, it's one of those things that's ever changing because we're, again, 3 weeks into it. And I think that CEOs are, what's happening right now is, and Julian kind of said this a couple weeks ago, it was spring break the first week, sort of a dose of reality the second week. We're kind of getting our sea legs in this third week.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening is we think now that the economic part of this is going to go even further. So that the true test in my mind for the CEOs is to be 3 to 4 weeks from now.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, it's easy when revenue's coming in, right? It's easy when you haven't seen but Sojourn laid off half of their employees this week in
I heard
Omaha.
that today. Yep.
What's the group that Betsy used to work for in Lincoln?
Talent Plus, 40 employees.
They left 40 employees today. Yes.
Wow.
I had 2 or 3 meetings yesterday with people who are independent contractors, and yesterday, and they're like no market, nothing whatsoever. And I think the challenging part, again, this is not easy. I'm not saying that, but in a comparison to what 3 weeks from now looks like, this is going to be a cakewalk.
That's exactly right.
And when you see some companies actually making the decision to cut people now versus a slow death of 1,000 duck bites. And I think they're just saying we're going to assume that it's going to get bad. We're just going to make the reductions now versus going on. I am most concerned about how does Kaada, how does our group respond to helping people find connections in the city and other cities, right? So having a sense of abundance, knowing that there isn't really abundant amount of jobs. So how do we prepare them? How do we prepare everyone who's in our organization and who's following us online to be ready when it comes out, right? So that's my concern is if it's 2 months, 2 days, 2 weeks, what's it gonna look like,
Yeah. Great point. And to what you just said, I think what Kaada can do, and one of the things is prepare them with tools and practical applications for how to react in the moment. Mike talked about that a little bit. How do you come back and be centered and deal with it moment by moment? And how do you cope? But then defining what your non-negotiables are, what's important to you, who's important to you, how do you develop relationships? How do you strategically go out and form those better relationships so that you start to make progress? Because it's way too easy to get trapped up in your head and be way too subjective and emotional during this time. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen to me, it happens to everybody, but I think what Kaada can do is provide forums like this with our smaller breakout rooms and then coming back to this, where we can really prepare people with sound tools and helping them bridge those relationship gaps with people that they might not know previously. And that's where I think we can provide real value going forward, Julian.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I told you this morning, I'm working on when the Union Pacific laid off all those employees a few weeks ago, 18, 19 months ago. I did a lot of coaching one-on-ones of just how to find a job in a marketplace. So I'll run that by the group for you guys to look over and check. But I think that one strategy is, it's like finding a job is like finding a deal, right, Michael?
Yeah.
It's about calling people and using the network. And it's really, if you think about the first conversation we had was really about why Kaada was a series of events, but that one event and every man and woman at Union Pacific saying, I didn't know anyone. Mm-hmm. And I wish I'd have known someone. We have a perfect chance to help them know someone and a group of people that aren't their normal circle of people around the cubicle. So yeah, I love it. Any closing thoughts, Derek, Mr. Quiet? He's like just a good looking guy there holding his, like the thinker.
I was just thinking about what you guys were saying there. So I guess that's one of the things that I'd like to ask, because I'm sure it's on people's minds. You said Kaada is a great place to go, and it is, but why is that? I mean, what I feel like most people are thinking about right now is how do I prepare? What, you're talking about leaders in the coming weeks and the decisions they're going to have to make, but what can I be doing now to help prepare myself to be in a better position? And what does that look like?
Well, I think it's doing some of what Josh did today was share the resources that are out there. If the government's got programs and there's help financially for businesses and individuals, it's share that. Share what you're finding out about support, like these Kaada groups.
Mhm.
You know, I think be a resource for people right now is what we can do when somebody needs help and you don't have the answers, but you know maybe Julian does. You make that connection.
So really the opportunity is as Kaada and as this community continues to grow is provide those resources and allow others to know that at least there's a source for what those things can be. And
Yeah.
here's kind of that pond to be able to go to.
Yeah.
I do think that's right. Yeah, I think you clarified it well, Derek. It's providing the support, resources, tools, but also the connection points. I mean, it is important. As Kaada grows, it's grown here locally, but as it grows, even regionally and nationally and internationally, for that matter, connection points are going to be extremely important. You know, this could be the way to find those connection points in the future.
Yeah. Agreed. Even and locally and regionally, and now as we see, maybe internationally, right? Like this.
Yeah.
The people in the UK are struggling like everyone else, and
Yep.
I think if we can learn something from them and them us, why not share, right?
For sure. So I guess the one thing that I would say, based off of what I'm hearing you guys all say, of have that location that you can go and get that information. I'd also recommend be open to knowing that things may look different in the coming weeks and years, and be open to the idea that that job that you're seeking may be different than what you've built it up in your head right now, and be willing to have those conversations of what can that look like. Because right now, if jobs are drying up, that just means that there's maybe a chance that it needs to look a little bit different. And what are those things, and how can we have those conversations together around what are those needs, and allow entrepreneurship and innovation to thrive in this time? Because in my opinion, that's going to be what gets us through it.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think that's a very valuable point. So that at this moment, a job is okay. A career might be a secondary consideration for the next 3 to 6, 9 months, right? And you'll, if companies are hiring you, and if you're looking and you get hired, can you imagine what kind of feeling of love you're going to have for that organization in the midst of this time, to reach out and say, I trust that this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Well, guys, I appreciate, again, our Friday morning meeting and our podcast, which is going to get better as we go along. But I love you boys, period. It's just you're a great part of my life. And yeah, I just, if you need anything, let us know, and reach out to someone that you may know marginally, but just check and see how they're doing, right? Even if it's a text message, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Have a great
Great.
weekend, guys. Thank
See
you.
you.
Have a good
Okay,
weekend,
guys.
Ben.
All right. Take care.
See you.